Hello and welcome to our Bible study. I'm so glad you've joined me today as we dive into a truly powerful and prophetic chapter from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 13. In this incredible passage, Jesus speaks to his disciples about the future. He foretells the destruction of the magnificent temple in Jerusalem and describes the signs that will come before his return. Let's open our hearts and listen closely to his words, seeking to understand what they mean for us in our lives today. The chapter begins as Jesus is leaving the temple. One of his followers, filled with awe, says to him, "Teacher, look at the big stones in these great buildings." It's easy to imagine his wonder. The Jerusalem temple was a masterpiece, a source of immense national pride. But Jesus' response is startling. He says, "Do you see these great buildings? All these stones will be thrown down. Not one will be left standing on another." With these words, Jesus looks beyond its physical beauty to its coming destruction. A prophecy that was fulfilled in the year 70 AD, when the Roman armies leveled the city. This sets a very solemn tone, reminding us that all earthly things, no matter how glorious or permanent they may seem, are ultimately temporary. After this shocking prediction, Jesus sits down on the Mount of Olives, at a spot where he can see the temple. Peter, James, John, and Andrew approach him privately. They ask, "Tell us when this will be." What are we to look for when these things are to happen? Their question is born out of a natural desire to be prepared. They've just been told their world is going to be turned upside down, and they want to know when and what signs will precede it. They are seeking clarity in the face of uncertainty. Jesus begins his response with a crucial warning. Be careful that no one leads you the wrong way. This is the very first thing he says, highlighting the danger of deception. He continues, "Many people will come using my name. They will say, 'I am Christ.' They will turn many to the wrong way." He then foretells a period of intense global turmoil. When you hear of wars and much talk about wars, do not be surprised. These things have to happen. But the end is not yet. He speaks of nations rising against nations, earthquakes, and famines. But here is the key. Jesus calls these events the beginning of much sorrow and pain, not the end itself. This is a powerful call for us to have discernment and endurance, not to panic when we see chaos in the world. From global events, the focus then shifts to personal persecution. Jesus tells his followers, "Watch out for yourselves. It will take you to the courts and the places of worship. They will beat you. You'll be taken in front of rulers and in front of kings because of me." He is preparing them for real hardship, for suffering that will come simply because they follow him. But even in this, there is a divine purpose. He says, "You will be there to tell them about me." Their suffering will become a platform, an opportunity to bear witness to the truth of Jesus before the highest authorities. This persecution is directly linked with the mission to spread the good news to all nations. And right in the middle of this warning, Jesus offers a profound and beautiful promise of divine help. He says, "When you are put into their hands, do not be afraid of what you are to say or how you are to say it. Whatever is given to you to say at that time, say it. You who speaks, but the Holy Spirit." Think about that. In the moment of our greatest trial, when we are called to defend our faith, we will not have to rely on our own wisdom or eloquence. The Holy Spirit himself will speak through us, giving us the exact words we need. This is a promise of supernatural guidance and courage that can sustain us through anything. The intensity of this persecution will be so great that it will tear apart the most fundamental human bonds. Jesus warns, "A brother will hand over a brother to death. A father will hand over his son. Children will turn against their parents and have them put to death." This is a heart-wrenching picture of betrayal from the people closest to us. He adds, "You will be hated by all people because of me." This isn't an exaggeration. It's a reality for many believers around the world, even today. Yet amidst this picture of universal hatred and betrayal, Jesus gives the ultimate promise. But he who stays true to the end will be saved. Your endurance, your perseverance and faith is what leads to ultimate salvation. Next, Jesus speaks of a very specific sign, referencing the prophet Daniel. He says, "You will see a very sinful man-made God standing in the house of God where it has no right to stand." This is often called the abomination of desolation. It signifies an ultimate act of desecration against God. When this sign appears, the instruction is urgent and immediate. Then those in the country of Judea should run to the mountains. Jesus stresses the need to flee without any hesitation at all. He that is on the top of the house should not take the time to get anything out of his house. He that is in the field should not go back to get his coat. The urgency is absolute. This isn't about saving your possessions. It's about saving your life. It signals the arrival of a crisis unlike any other. In the midst of this urgent warning, Jesus shows his deep compassion for the most vulnerable. He says it will be hard for women who will soon be mothers. It will be hard for those feeding babies in those days. Fleeing for your life is hard enough, but for a pregnant woman or a new mother, it would be almost impossible. He then adds, pray that it will not be during the winter, time when the journey would be even more treacherous due to the cold and difficult conditions. This detail shows us that Jesus is not just speaking in abstract prophecies. He is thinking about the very real, physical dangers and difficulties that people will face. His heart is for those who are most at risk. Jesus then describes the nature of this period. In those days, there will be much trouble and pain and sorrow. It has never been this bad from the beginning of time and never will be again. This is a time of tribulation so severe that it is without precedent in all of human history. The suffering will be so extreme that if it were allowed to continue unchecked, no life would have been saved. It would lead to the total annihilation of humanity. But then we see the grace and sovereignty of God. Jesus says, because of God's people, whom he has chosen, he made the days short. God himself will intervene. He will limit the duration of this terrible time, not because humanity deserves it, but for the sake of his chosen people, to ensure their survival and fulfill his ultimate plan. This is a testament to God's mercy, even in the midst of judgment. Thank you so much for studying with me today. I love reading your comments and hearing how these words speak to you. Tell me if you want to be saved and I'll help you with that. I will pray for you every day to continue your journey with me. Search for Jesus at HaroldSwaney for the complete library of my Bible study videos. Thank you, and God bless you.